Analyze each graph and circle the function which could model the graph. Describe your reasoning to either eliminate or choose each function. Okay? I'm going to label all the characteristics. So I'm kind of going reverse about what we did, and that'll help me figure out if it's one of these polynomials. Okay, the first thing I notice is that the graph is starting down, ending down. There's a couple of things I can note between that. Class, is that an even or odd degree? Class, even or odd? This would be an even degree polynomial. It's even degrees because they have starts down, ends down. So that would be kind of like a y equals x squared, right? Then I know that the a value is negative. I know that the a value is negative because normally y equals x squared starts up, ends up, but it's pointing down. So I know the a value is negative. The next thing I notice here is where it crosses the y-axis. So at the y-axis, I have a positive y-intercept. So maybe like, I don't know, I'm going to guess a number 5. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to count the number of x-intercepts. Count with me. Ready, set, go. So we have a 5 x-intercepts. Possibly. And then the last clue is the number of extrema. Count the number of extrema. Ready, set, go. So we have 5 extrema. Okay, we have this formula from yesterday's lesson. Hopefully you have that on your formula sheet. Partner B, tell partner A, what goes on this side? Max number of extrema is equal to? Jeremiah, what did you write there? Do you know a formula that we used yesterday? Past couple days, max number of extrema is equal to? Degree minus 1 is correct. So if you don't have that on your formula sheet, copy it down now. So this kind of implies, can tell us then, well, the max number of extrema is, I have 5. 5 equals degrees minus 1. And if I add 1 to both sides, I get a degree of 6. Okay? Alright, so based off of my graph, I got all of these clues. And now I can either accept or reject these problems. So let's look at this. Okay. On function 1, that's why it says f of 1, put your finger at the largest degree. It's a 5. Is that even or odd? So we can eliminate. Because this is an odd degree polynomial, and the graph is what? Is an even. So we've eliminated this one, right? Let's look at the next one. Now this one's a little bit complicated, and you might think, Mr. Ng, does that mean I have to do FOIL in the box like a bunch of times? Well, I'm going to teach you a shortcut. This one just has an x. This has 1x. This one has an x. This one has x squared, so that's x squared, and this is an x. And really all I'm doing here, let me zoom in for you, is you're multiplying and then you just add the same base. I'm sorry, when you're multiplying, you have the same base, they're all x's, you just add the exponents. So class, what's 1 plus 1? Plus 1, plus 2, plus 1. Does that match ours? Yeah. Okay. I have a negative. So let's highlight all the things that match. I have a degree 6. That matches. So we said that this was equal to an x to the 6. That matches. That's an even degree. That matches. Okay. I don't know what the y-intercept is unless I multiply all of them out, which I don't really want to do. Okay. We have a negative leading coefficient. Does that match? So let's write that. So it tells us to circle it, right? Circle the function which you can use. So let's circle this in green. Green for go. This equation matches. When you guys are using your quizzes or tests, I want to abbreviate. This equation matches the graph because the a value is negative. Let's make sure you see that in colors, right? We said a value is negative in pink. Here, we're saying it here, and we see it on the graph here. It's an even degree polynomial. Remember, you're going to be doing this for your projects, so it's good to pay attention. So 6 is an even degree polynomial, and we know ours is because it's also purple. And then the last one is there are 5 x-intercepts. Is acceptable. Let's write is okay with the degree. Because remember, the degree equals the number of x-intercepts. So here we counted 5, but we have a degree 6. That is okay. If you had something like 8 x-intercepts and like a degree of 4, that doesn't make sense, so it wouldn't work. Okay, let's look at the third one. I see the y-intercept here. Does that match? It's a positive. Okay, that matches. It has a negative. Yes? And then the degree matches, doesn't it? It's an even. Does it work? No. Take 20 seconds to tell your partner, why do you think this does not match? Why are we eliminating this? Because our equation has what degree? The r's, this one currently right here, the equation has degree of 4. But our graph has how many x-intercepts? Has 5 x-intercepts. Remember, it should match. It should have at least 5 or 6. But this is saying like you should only have a max 4. Does that make sense? So in this problem, we kept 1, eliminated 2. Do that by looking at all your characteristics.